sparrow or a plane drops down a couple feet again to catch the wind that still remains, but I'm left breathless anyway. I thought the world ended in March until I heard the doorbell ring. Just me here standing in the dark, but I'll light up everything again. This can't be the end. This can't be the end. This can't be the end. This can't be the end of all that summer had to say. What little time has gone away, I'll glue it all back anyway. I'll glue it all back anyway. This can't be the end. This can't be the end. This can't be the end. This can't be the end of all that summer had to say. What little time has gone away, I'll glue it all back anyway. I'll glue it all back anyway. Why do I have to stay here on the ground? It's overrated. The cityscape escapes you with a sound. It's delineated. I waited at the station for an hour, but I won't make it. You take off on an updraft by the tower, and you overtake it. Every moon that I see you on the rise, you're drawn across the sky. Now that ink has dried, and I can't tell you why. Oh, Mimi, can you tell me there's an issue? I've seen it clouded all around you. Why can't you tell me there's an issue you've seen before? Oh, Mimi, can you tell me there's an issue? I've seen it clouded all around you. Why can't you tell me there's an issue you've seen before? And I can't tell you why. Oh, I can't tell you why. Why you have to stay here on the ground? It's overrated. The cityscape parades you with a sound. It's delineated. No one here has even learned your name, but they all claim that they saw you land and land to do the same, but they won't make it. Every moon that I see you on the rise, you're drawn across the sky. Now that ink has dried, and I can't tell you why. Oh, Mimi, can you tell me there's an issue? I've seen it clouded all around you. Why can't you tell me there's an issue you've seen before? Oh, Mimi, can you tell me there's an issue? I've seen it clouded all around you. Why can't you tell me there's an issue you've seen before? And I can't tell you why. Tell me there's an issue. I've seen it clouded all around you. Why can't you tell me there's an issue you've seen before? Or maybe can you tell me there's an issue? I've seen it clouded all around you. Why can't you tell me there's an issue you've seen before? And I can't tell you why. I can't tell you why. what they'll say. You stood a mightier kind of calico they combined, but then they started to decay. But I'm still here. I lost everything, everything, but I know that it will fall. The crumbling walls, and it's all that is left to me. It seems like we're in withdrawal, but so are they all. And it's all that is left to me. I'm not good at it to stone. I read it alone. And it's all that is left to me. Your love swords cover this home, but nobody knows. And it's all that is left to me. I know that it will fall, the crumbling walls, and it's all that is left to me. It seems like we're in withdrawal, but so are they all. And it's all that is left to me. I write your name into stone and read it alone. And it's all that is left to me. Your love songs cover this home, but nobody knows. And it's all that is left to me. This is a first-rate town, but all you ever notice are the ways it stretched too far. And it has been knocked down, while some of us are still left here between the scars. But when you look around, all you ever notice is you cannot see the stars. This is a first-rate town, you know. You just can't see very far. When the last door closed, you packed your clothes and went back to Montreal. Said it was colder there, it still hangs in the air, it helps you forget it all. You left an empty bookshelf that I didn't fill till fall. This is a first-rate town, you know. You just can't see it at all. Well, it will fade as all things must. I loved you, but you didn't love me enough. Winter comes, the car will rust. I'll start it up, then always run a little rough. This is a first-rate town, and all you ever notice are the ways it stretched too far. They keep the death rates down, it's colder than a winter spent in defrosting cars. We talked a lot of leaving, didn't think you'd get that far. This is a first-rate town, you know. You just can't see very far. Written in the back of my old diary, I gotta break sometime. It's underlined and red, scrawled across the screen beneath the spider ring. I gotta break sometime. I left it all unread. And the more I know, the less I seem to care. Weighted down by everything and falling through the air. And the more I hold, the less that I can bear. But hey, I gotta break sometime. Cracked inside a kiln between the firing. I gotta break sometime. You blazed it anyway. Screamed across the city from a windowsill. I gotta break sometime. That's all you had to say. But the more I know, the less I seem to care. Weighted down by everything and falling through the air. And the more I hold, the less that I can bear. But hey, back of my old diary. We all gotta break sometime. It's underlined and lead. Scroll across the screen beneath the spider ring. We all gotta break sometime. I left it all unread. Cracked inside a kiln between the firing. We all gotta break sometime. You lazed it anyway. Screamed across the city from a windowsill. We all gotta break sometime. That's all you had to say. Can't quite get enough time on the inside of the cycle that you spin with gravity and dust. I'm falling in between the planets and the sun into the orbit that surrounds you. That orbit that surrounds you. That orbit that surrounds you. That orbit that surrounds you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 4 of Galaxy Tour Season 14 with Zealous Racing League. My name is Shim, and I'm going to be your host for tonight's race as always. Thank you all for tuning in for this, what should be a really interesting round here for our drivers for Zealous Racing League. It's going to be a fun one here at Valencia. It's going to be a 60-minute race for our drivers. Currently, the track is looking clear. 42 degrees Celsius, 30 degrees on the track. But this is going to be a bit different than what we've seen in the previous races. You know, one of the things we like to do here at ZRL is switch things up a little bit every single race. And that's no different for tonight. We've had a 60-minute race with a mandatory pit stop. We've had 60-minute races with refueling required. We've had a 45-minute race with no fuel required or no mandatory pit stop. And now here we are at Valencia, where we have 2 mandatory pit stops for tires for our drivers. Let's get to some of our drivers who are actually on the track here. It's going to be interesting for our drivers tonight, managing the pit stops here at Valencia. It's a tricky track to pass on unless you get a really good look down, usually in turn 2 at this track. You have to set yourself up on the main straight for a turn 2 pass, generally speaking. So with limited opportunities for our drivers to overtake, our pit stops are going to be where a lot of that work happens. And in my experience, this track is very hard on the tires. So with 2 mandatory pit stops, the drivers should always be available to have fresh rubber on the track, and should lead to some interesting strategies. Here at Valencia, it's all about consistency and finding that optimal line throughout the track. Braking zones are key here, making sure that you're not losing time in braking zones during a few kinks, as you saw Shane go through one of said kinks, and especially this final turn here, just making sure you know exactly where you need to brake to get as much speed down this really the only straight on the track. You want to make sure you get as much speed going down it as you possibly can, because that's where that's where most of the overtaking is going to be, and that's where a lot of the lap time is going to be as well, at the tail end and at the beginning of the lap. But like I said, consistency is really key here at Valencia, finding that line and sticking to it, making sure that you're hitting that line every single time. You don't want to be deviating, because any deviation is going to lose you time to the driver behind you. Any deviation is going to be pretty detrimental to your overall lap time. This track really does reward consistency and fluidity through a lot of the turns. I think a lot of these turns are what you would call very complex sectors, complex turns, where you have multiple turns that you need to be aware of ahead of the turn that you're currently at. Given the section that Louis just went through right there, turns 3, 4, 5, and even into 6, you really need to find that line and that flow through that sector, making sure that every time you make a turn, you're setting yourself up for the next one. And that really happens quite a few times throughout the lap. So it's going to be really interesting for our drivers. I think it's going to be a really, really fun race for them tonight. I know every race that I've had at Valencia has been a blast. It's a very tricky track, but it's really fun once you get the hang of it. Just do want to shout out a few folks. We got a few folks that are joining us for the first time tonight for this season. One such driver is Alexander Hickman. Hickman's joined us in the past, but good to see Hickman back on the track. Josh Staffen, a new driver with us. He's in the Aston Martin. Maybe we can get in a little bit closer to actually see their cars. There it is, Josh's car. Go back to Hickman's car, driving in the McLaren. And then a new driver tonight is Nathan Stewart, who's in the new Ford tonight. It's one of the big, I would say, new developments in the game is just this last week. The Ford GT3 spec car was put into Assetto Corsa Competizione. Last week, a lot of our drivers got on, myself included, to test out the car, as it had just come out with a couple of fun races. And I'm going to be honest, I was hoping for more. Now, part of that, maybe not hoping for more is the right answer. I was hoping to like it better than I do. I think, given the front engine nature of the car, I was maybe expecting it to be a lot more like the BMW, which is a car I love. Didn't really feel like the BMW that much. The rear is very squirrely unless you can tune that out. We did try some things, and we did help the rear a little bit in terms of the squirreliness of it. But you noticed that the rear was a bit squirrely. didn't feel very consistently squirrely is the big thing too. Like um, sometimes you'd lose the car a little bit. Um, you'd lose the car a little bit when you weren't expecting to. A lot of it had to do with what gear you were in. I found it was very sensitive as to what gear you were racing in or what gear you were in when you got on the gas. At least, again, in my experience. And yes, I did test it this last week. My knee was not as strong as it maybe should have been, and that's maybe a caveat to my testing of the car. Um, Coming back from my knee injury, I would say that I was not as strong as I should have been. Um, I expected the brakes to be better. That's one thing. You know, my left leg is the one that was hurt, so left foot braking was a little bit tough in this car. I really had to put my knee to the test, and that really exhausted me a lot faster than I was expecting. Made me very inconsistent, I would say, at different parts of the track. Um, so yeah, again, I was really hoping to like this car, and there's still a lot of room for me to test it out, and a lot of room for a lot of the drivers to test it out. So hopefully, and from what I've heard, it actually can be very fast if you tune it correctly. But a good point that was brought up, this is meant to be a first spec, a first series of this car. Um, it's not tried and tested like a lot of other GT3 cars might be. BMW's been in the GT3 game for quite a few years now, and they've been able to really hone their craft. So the M4 is, even in real life, a very solid and balanced car. Ferrari's been doing this for a long time, and the new 296 is very consistent. All of these cars, even in real life, are, everyone's got more experience in the GT3 field than Ford does coming in. Sure, Ford did some like Trans Am, stuff back in the day, but things have changed so much in recent years. I mean, even when you give 20 years of a car and the new regulations and specs that we've been racing with GT3, you can't really expect Ford to come out of the gate with the best car. And so it would make sense that the car maybe has got some teething issues. It's got some things it needs to work on. And very well said, Slim. It definitely is. It is sensitive to setups. I think I have found. Some drivers had a lot of success with it. Drivers like, let's go to another driver here, like Belanger was doing very well in the car last week. Was having a lot of success, and he's a BMW fan as well. KP actually was having a rough time, but he also is not used to the front engines. And he was dealing with some technical issues as well. Chase Gordon was actually doing super well in the car last week. Was looking really good in the car. So I think you'll start to see some drivers moving to it. Given our ZRL regulations and stuff, it doesn't really make sense for drivers to change to the car because the penalty you accrue throughout the season of changing to a new car gets pretty, gets harsher as you go on. Like you lose more points the further into the season you are when you change your car. So it's not very advantageous for drivers to change to it now. But I think you'll see next season maybe a couple Fords coming through. Speaking of following seasons, well, one, just want to thank you all for joining, and two, if you're interested in learning more about ZRL and you want to try your hand at racing with us yourself, be sure to like and subscribe first, and then come to our Discord channel. We have a link on the homepage of our YouTube channel, and on our Discord, that's where you're going to find the latest information on all things ZRL, when new seasons are going to be coming up, when we're doing fun events. Generally, if we're not racing a week, we're going to be doing something for fun. So be sure to come in and join if that's something that piques your interest. And again, thank you for all your support. It's very appreciated. The word of mouth, advertisement that you guys do really help us stay alive, and the support that you guys bring, really means a lot to us. And um, yeah, really helps our community to grow and um, helps us stay tight knit and close, which is what we like. Currently got 3 minutes left in free practice here with Rivera here setting the fastest lap so far, 1:30.375. That is the fastest lap of the of the the free practice session. Skylar Loverink is next on that list with a 30.6, and then 30.7 for Jonathan Clifford, looking really good, and maybe just lose the car. Just an opportune time for me to check in on our friend Jonathan. One person that you'll sadly see missing from our lineup tonight is our good friend Christopher Larson. Seems to be a running trend within our group right now, as we're having a lot of people having issues with their equipment. And after 4 years of service, our friend Christopher Larson's wheelbase gave out a couple weeks ago. So poor glass out for our man Christopher Larson and all of the years of service that his wheelbase gave us. He's going to be out for the time being, looking to get a new wheelbase as soon as he can, but sadly will not be joining us tonight on the track, which is a bummer. We've had a few of our drivers that have had issues with equipment this season. One of them, being Christopher Larson. One of them being our good friend Dale Rodman Jr. Last week, our good friend KP was having issues. Seems like a lot of people are having some issues with their equipment over the past few weeks, past few months, really, myself included. I've had some issues with my equipment. My brake pedal gave out right before I got surgery. For me, luckily, I wasn't going to be using it anytime soon, so I didn't really care. It was kind of perfect timing, really. But yeah, we're seeing a lot of our good friends, having issues with their equipment. So, all right, free practice is winding down. Thank you, Belanger. Thank you. I appreciate the support. I had one of my coworkers say, "I'm the man," so I don't know if you guys want to say I'm the man. I give you free reign. I'm not trying to put any thoughts in your head, but I'm just saying. I kid, but got our drivers winding down here. Timer is expired for free practice, and our drivers will be coming around on their last lap here of free practice. We'll go into our 15-minute qualifying session and then straight into our 60-minute race here at Valencia. Let's watch our friend Attenbury come across the line. Looking good in that rookie class tonight. Close to swearing in terms of pace. Wasn't able to get it done, though. Just give me a moment to check on the drivers that are still out on track. We got the 54 car. I want to make sure I get the right car here. That's our friend Chase Gordon. Is he gonna keep going? I think he might keep going. He's got the time, might as well. Through the kink he goes. Just got a few. I won't say I demand, but I will say you demand. Thank you. Appreciate it. And as Chase rounds that final corner down the start-finish straight, he goes into qualifying. It's a little dark here for qualifying tonight, as you can see. 15 minutes for our drivers. Let's get out on track and see what they're going to be doing. Looking at the driver who's out there first, it's our friend Kenneth Portis. We haven't followed him yet, so I think now is as good a time as any to follow our good friend KP as he goes through his opening laps for qualifying. As we watch KP here, we want to be very mindful. Be very mindful of the lines that our drivers are going to be taking for tonight's race. It's going to be maybe a little tricky to see with it being so dark, but you'll notice that they're going to try to stick to these very consistent lines throughout their qualifying sesh. And you'll see the wonderful flow that this track has. I really think out of, there's not many tracks that I feel like the whole lap you're flowing from corner to corner. I feel like this is one of the few tracks in ACC where I really feel like every single second that you're racing on this track, you're really gliding between the turns. And as KP rounds our final turn here, let's watch him go through his first lap. He comes down the start-finish straight. Moving into turn one, you want to get as far to the right as you possibly can. And he's got other drivers he's got to worry about, and almost runs into one of the drivers coming out of the pit lane. It's almost super dangerous, but ideally he wants to be, way off the line there, way off the track, because the track limits are very forgiving into the second turn hairpin. Here's where a lot of flow comes into place, going down into second gear, trying to glide in, staying in second, using all of the width of the track, coming all the way back over to the right into this left-hander. This is a very tricky one. You want to kind of hold it close and get on the gas early, getting far to the outside of the right of the track. Now, this back end isn't the not so straight, got a little kink in there into a hard braking zone hairpin. Do about second gear on the gas early, going into the runoff and over the two curbings there, cut the next turn into the hairpin, braking right at that little kink there, rotating and getting on the gas again as early as you possibly can. Down this short little straight, you want to get all the way over to the left to get into this kink, and you just kind of want to glide into it. On the gas, watching out for that sausage-ish curve. It'll bottom out your car into the final turn, which is this very tricky little hairpin. It looks like KP just being a little conservative with it there. Just wants to get a good line. Didn't get the greatest turn one with the traffic, but he will set a 31.07.2, which is a very respectable first lap. Definitely faster than Clifford's lap there. Nunez with a 31.6. KP still with the fastest lap so far, and other drivers are going to be following suit. Our friend Rivera here turns the final turn, and he's going to be the one to beat, I think, here today. Looking awfully quick in that McLaren as he comes down the start-finish straight. He will indeed set the fastest lap, and the driver behind him looks to be another McLaren. I want to say that might be Flores, if I'm not mistaken. Jonathan Clifford goes up to P4, does not beat out Nunez. Belanger up to P5. He's going to be hoping for better. Matt Lung, Rodman, and Julien Levasseur for our semi-pro class. Chase Gordon now sets a great lap for his class. That's a 32.1 for our semi-pro driver right there. That is going to be very tough for the rest of that class to beat. Not impossible, I should say, but that is a wonderful lap for the class. Good on Chase for getting that great qualifying lap in there. Julian's got 4/10 to make up to be able to match. Some more of our drivers coming through. Luis Sanz is currently our only rookie driver to set a lap with a 36. We know he's a little faster than that due to his, and as I was talking about Louis there, we've got a new fastest lap. That's Skylar Loverink with a 30.440, and that's almost a whole half a second faster than Rivera's best lap. Looks like our friend Loverink bails out of that lap right there. As we watch Rivera here actually just set a fastest lap for him personally. That's a 30.477. That's within a tenth of Loverink there. That's awfully close. Swearingen is the fastest driver in our rookie class so far with a 35.9. Let's go on to the bonnet of some of these cars. Kenneth Portis with the fastest lap, a 30.33377. That is an excellent lap for our friend KP there. And we'll see if our friend Rivera here can answer, flowing through these final few turns here. Very calm on the downshifts there for Rivera. An excellent rotation to go down the back, the front, the start finish straight there, and that will be the fastest lap, barely, awfully close between our top drivers here. And if we move to our friend Loverink here, let's see if he's going to still be in traffic. Lap driver does let him go by. Belanger currently P3. Loverink is currently, and that's an off track for Loverink. That's not going to be what he wants. Belanger, though, going P3, a bit unexpected, but you love to see that. Awfully close, within 2/10 between our drivers at the front here. That is awesome to see. Jonathan Clifford out there currently trying for something better. Looking at his sector times. Let's see if we can see anything here. Given the sector times of our drivers. Looks like Jonathan's actually got a really good sector 1 in comparison to Belanger, or actually a really good sector 1 in comparison to Portis. Where he loses it out is really the last 2 sectors. KP with the fastest sector 3. Doing very well through the kink in the final turn there, which is possibly the hardest part of the track to get right. Hickman is our fastest semi-pro driver now with a 31.470. Moving down, Mugarian is our fastest rookie driver. Lloyd outpaces Hickman there. That's not for the class, but it still will help with track position. Great lap for Rodman there. He'll go up to P13. Flores up to P12. Got 6 minutes left in qualifying here currently. Let's go to Skylar Loverink. Last lap was a 31.2, as you can see there. Looking at Rivera here. Definitely looks comfortable and consistent with those lap times. And that Puerto Rico Esports or Puerto Rico E-Racing Club livery. Oh, that's a good point here. I do remember the Hickmans because there's 2 of them. I do remember that from a few seasons ago, and if I remember correctly, one of them was in a BMW, so you got Alex and Zach Hickman both joining us tonight. Good to see them back. Glenn Pinio into P16. Looking down into our rookie class here, Shane Swearingen here. Looking to outpace Mugarian. Fastest lap of the race, that's Skylar Loverink with a 30.1. That is going to be another tough lap to beat. It's almost, it's a tenth and a half faster than Rivera's time. Looks like he may have been unlucky, you know, Loverink with just a few incidences of traffic. Dustin Reed, the number 5 car, off into the ditch. 4 minutes left in qualifying. Looking at Shane's time, not great. Could have been an outlap though, so now he's looking for one better. We'll touch base with him in a little bit. Chase Gordon has fallen down the ranks quite a ways in the semi-pro category. Hasn't been able to put together another fast lap. Looks like he's in danger here with a lot of cars around him jockeying for some track space. Clifford into the pits after a bit of a mistake there. Loverink into the pits. Watch Chase come across his lap here. He's looking good in terms of his delta. Looks like he will improve if he can stay on it. Last turn, he's going to lose a little bit of time there. And looks like he will do a bit better, and that puts him up into, actually does quite a bit better, puts him up into P2, splitting the Hickmans. Almost gets pole position there in class. Portis currently on the fast lap. Belanger just starting his. Nunez almost done. See if he's going to do one better. Isn't able to. About 5 tenths slower than his fastest. Rivera currently on a fast lap now too. Does have a slower car in front, so that's going to hinder his lap a little bit. Doesn't have a lot of time left. He's got 2 minutes left. We'll get this lap and another. And Skylar Loverink still out on track, looking to do one better. Back to our rookie category here. Looks like Mugarian's still holding the lead, and Kevin Attenbury actually gets P2 in class, with Swearingen relegated to P3. Louis Sands currently P4, and Dustin Reed has not set a lap time just yet. Skylar Loverink sets a new fastest lap of the race, goes about a tenth faster than what he had done previously. Looking at our new driver, Nathaniel Stewart here in the Ford Mustang. Looking pretty comfortable so far with a 32.5, like very respectable time for his first time with the league. Ricardo Rivera looking to set a fast lap here. He's gonna get this one and another. We'll see if he can do one better. Is he able to improve? He is not able to improve, but here he goes. This is his last chance. Kenneth Portis is currently going through the hairpin, and he's got a car in front of him. Looks like the Nissan of Travis Barlett. Might hamper his time a little bit here. Coming through the final few turns. The driver to watch will be JP Belanger. This will be his final lap here. Last lap was a 30.8. So it looks like he's got some consistency as well. Belanger could be a real danger for a podium position today, and that's what I love to see. Qualifying timer is officially run dry. The 441 car of Melon Pitch is going to be coming across the line. He actually opts to just cut out of the... Oh, and there's Belanger skipping over that sausage curb and invalidating his lap. That's going to be a hard one to watch there. He's not going to be able to do better with that. Kenneth Portis looks like he was able to get across the line just in time and is able to set another fast lap here. Number 80 car, I think, just ran straight through. Shane Swearingen still on track. He's about to round that final turn. 787 car of Rivera coming across the line. He is not able to improve. That's a good lap for Swearingen. That's going to get him into pole position for the class. And looks like it's just KP that is left out on the track. And as he comes through the kink here, this is his last opportunity to set a fast lap. He's currently P3 and he's looking really good. Let's see if he can get the lap he's looking for as he rounds the final turn. And will he do it? He will not. Sadly, that was his fastest lap of the session, or at least matched it. I can't remember, but that was his fastest lap, and it just barely was not enough to grab P2. There you have it, folks. An exciting qualifying so far. Now our drivers will need to manage their pit stops for 2 mandatory pit stops at today's race for tires. Here as they do 60 minutes of racing at Valencia. A bit dark out tonight. It's currently 6 a.m. The day is young and the sun will come out as the race goes on. Have to deal with the sunrise. But going through our starting order of today's race, we've got Skylar Loverink in P1, Ricardo Rivera, Portis, Belanger, Nunez, Clifford, Staffen, Lloyd, Gonzalez. Starting our semi-pro category, we've got Hickman, Alexander Hickman, I should probably mention. We've got Chase Gordon. We've got our newcomer, Nathaniel Stewart in the Ford Mustang. Zach Hickman, Flores, Rodman, Levasseur, Collis, Pitch, Pinio, Dubé, Wolf, Rustin, Lung, Bartlett, Easterling, Swearingen, Mugarian, Attenbury, Sands, Trudell, and last but not least, Reed. That's our starting order for today's race. And as always, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in and being a member of our community. If you like what we're doing here, please consider leaving us a like and subscribing if you haven't already. And if you're interested in learning about the newest news in Zealous Racing League and getting involved with leagues in the future, be sure to join our Discord server, which is got a link in our homepage of our YouTube channel. On our Discord server, that's where you can find the latest information on all things Zealous Racing League, whether it be upcoming seasons, whether it be fun events, or if you're just looking to learn more about driving, we have that too. I want to shout out one thing that our viewer, Lenny Dijkstra, has been doing for our drivers is setting up a training or a coaching academy for our drivers that meets every Monday night, and it's always at the track that we'll be racing at the following that following Tuesday night. So last night they did some races at Valencia and has been able to help provide our drivers with some resources regarding how to set up cars, how to learn lines for tracks. So huge thank you for Lenny for doing that for our drivers. I know a lot of people have had a lot of success with it and really appreciate the work that he's put into that. So, you know, just goes to show that Zealous Racing League has a little bit for everyone. And our formation lap has begun with Lovering leading our drivers past turn 1 into turn 2, the hairpin. This is where you're probably going to be seeing most of the action tonight. It's not an easy overtaking spot, but it is probably the best here at Valencia. It's going to be a battle of strategy management for our drivers tonight, since overtaking will be so difficult. It's really up to our drivers to make sure that they're pitting into open air and they're not getting slowed down through through the classes as cars are getting lapped, people are going in for their pit stops. You're definitely going to see some of that kind of hectic action twice really in today's race, where you're going to have drivers mixed in with different classes just because some people are going to opt to pit before others, and that's just going to mix up the order of things. So it's going to be a lot to watch, or a lot to keep track of. Really, you're probably going to have some moments where we're seeing drivers in places that you wouldn't really expect, just because they've opted to take an earlier pit stop. So our drivers are going to be asked to get 2x2 here in just a moment as they go through the kink. I think this is where the game will ask everyone to go 2x2. And indeed it is. They all line up. Lovering next to Rivera. Portis next to Belanger. That inside line will be advantageous for this first turn. But if the driver on the outside can hang with, possibly an opportunity for them to gain more speed going into turn 2, and might be an overtaking opportunity early into the race. And as they come down the start-finish straight, lining up, and we are green, we are a go, and it looks like Rivera gets a really good jump off the line, and they're neck and neck. Rivera maybe slightly ahead going into turn 1, but with that inside line, it's going to give Lovering all of the leverage he needs to pull ahead into the braking zone. Looks like we do have some cars off the track. 999 of Pinio, I believe that is. No, that's Jonathan Clifford off the track. Wonder what happened to him there. Let's actually, we'll go back to that in just a bit. Looks like there is some carnage going through, a little bit of bumping, a little bit of rubbing of elbows throughout the field here. Skylar Lovering and Rivera going to go off into the distance here. Let's see the gaps between the drivers. Let's actually go back now to some of the action. We've got Staffen here battling it with Hickman now. Hickman's gained 2 positions off the line. Dubé's gained a few positions off the line as well. Looks like Gordon and brother Hickman are a little bit got a little bit swiped up with some of the higher class drivers there. It's like Stewart lost out as well. Looking at things here as things are now settling down. Dubé is looking for an opportunity to get in front of the Mustang of Stewart, and that was an awfully close move by Levasseur there. Almost was a bit of a tragedy. Seen some contact between our drivers. And now that we're through lap 1, now you can really see how far you can get out of the track there on turn 1. That's all within reason. Let's actually see what happens to our friend Clifford here off the start. So Clifford looks to the outside right away and gets ahead of Belanger. Gets cut off by Portis there and gets swiped up, and it looks like Belanger lost the car a little bit, and ooh, could have been a lot more damage, but looks like a little bit of an incident there. Belanger just losing the car a bit and running into Clifford on the exit. Clifford's already made it back up into P24 though. It's going to be a comeback drive for him now. Nunez actually moves up as well. Hickman moves ahead of Staffen. Staffen having an issue. 35 car having an issue as well. It's Ryan Trudell. Lovering with the fastest lap. Now, looking at the strategies, this is where Rivera is going to be really trying to bide his time right now. Rivera's goal right now is to make sure that he can stay as close as he possibly can to Lovering. He does not want to lose him, especially through the majority of the lap. And if he can stay close throughout the majority of the lap, he's going to be able to get that slipstream down the start-finish straight. He's going to be able to stick with him even better. That's really the goal here for our drivers. So I think I just saw a driver leaving. Can't tell who that was though. But it's going to be important for, like I said, Rivera to just stay close. As close as he can. It's okay if he loses a little bit of time throughout the lap, as long as he can stay really within that second, within that 7 to 8 tenths of a second, or even better, to Lovering. All he has to then do is bide his time throughout the lap, and then through the start-finish straight, he can really rest easy and just gain some time into the slipstream. Looks like that's exactly what he's doing. Actually had a really good last lap. Now tucking in behind Lovering is going to get that slipstream, and indeed will just hold on. And it says that Lovering just had the fastest lap, but there it is. Ricardo Rivera getting the fastest lap of the race there. Definitely attributed some of that to the slipstream of Lovering in front. You're seeing a gap form. Portis has got 2 seconds now to Rivera ahead. So it's going to turn into a battle there. And looks like Gage Gonzalez having an issue in the middle of the track. Really do hate to see that. I don't know what happened there. Lost connection to his wheel or what that was. But it looks like Gage Gonzalez having a bit of an issue there. A bit of an accident actually between him and the number 9 car. Let's actually go back and take a look at that. Coming through turn 1 and turn 2. Car ahead of him is Lloyd. Looks like Lloyd gets a bad exit. And as Lloyd's coming back on track, actually, looks like Gonzalez might have done that to himself a little bit, cutting that a little bit too close and losing the car. There's going to be some damage on Eric Lloyd's car, though. I think that's going to be chalked down to a racing incident, although it's like looked like Gonzalez really hit him hard. Do have a car coming out of the pits. It's the number 5 car. The 5 car of Dustin Reed opting to take his pit stop early. Gage Gonzalez into the pits is going to repair his car. Honestly, now that you've been a few laps into the race, not a bad time to take that first pit stop, get the tires changed, and just hope for a bit of a comeback drive. All right, let's look at some of our close battles here. We've got Mugarian, who's moved ahead of the rookie field here. Atbury close behind with Swearingen losing some off of the start. Eric Lloyd now getting into it again. Looking to pass Chase Gordon, I believe that is. Actually, that might be a lapped car that he's passing. No, that is Chase Gordon. Chase is looking to stick with here. Lloyd is out in front. Behind him, Chase has got Josh Staffen, one of the new drivers. Not in the same class, so he doesn't have to really worry about him, but he's going to want Staffen in there as a buffer to Zach Hickman behind. Jonathan Clifford now up to P16. Good comeback from him so far. Skylar Lovering with the fastest lap of the race. Rivera holding to the best he can, looking to do a good job so far. And Rivera maybe looking for a move there. I don't think that's going to work though. And indeed, he'll tuck in behind. Chase Gordon now staffing close behind into that first sector there. The two Aston Martins battling it out. Now we'll move back to Carlos Flores, who's got Wolf ahead and Clifford behind. Clifford will go on the inside there into an unorthodox passing position there. Now Flores doesn't want to give up that position to Rodman. Rodman will tuck in behind. Just gotta make sure I have the right camera set here. We don't want to have bad cameras for everyone to view. Flores now has Rodman close behind. Rodman's had a really good season so far. If you remember, I talked about him last week being awfully consistent this season, not getting himself into trouble. This is a good example of him doing that right now. Currently sitting P6 in today's race, and just looks very comfortable where he is. Wolf now with Clifford behind. This is for a class position here. We'll see if Clifford can pull off this move as they come down turn one. Clifford tucking in, using as much of the runoff as they can. Clifford has a little bit of a tighter line in there. Looks outside, goes inside, and Wolf will concede that position. Knows that's not his battle. There's a little bit of a snap there on the exit. Clifford will run away now. P13 for Clifford after a lap 1 incident. Moving to our top drivers here, we're looking at Skylar Lovering and Ricardo Rivera. Rivera is looking awfully comfortable just slotting in behind Lovering here. Actually is gaining time to Lovering throughout the laps, putting the pressure on. Like I was mentioning earlier, it's really up to these drivers to figure out how they want to manage their pit stops now. If they can stay consistent with these laps and maybe someone does an undercut or an overcut, that's really going to be, I think, key for this battle here in the front. Rivera's got consistent lap times. Let's see if we can actually see what their last few laps have been. At any rate, it's looked mighty consistent in the mid 130s. But the key now is, can Lovering keep it up without Rivera pushing him from behind here a little bit and pushing him to have good laps, and vice versa. Can Rivera do it without Lovering leading through these laps here? I can imagine that at this point in the race, Rivera's probably going to just want to stick in this position as long as he possibly can. Because he's going to want to hope that Lovering is going to pit and get into traffic. Looking at the number of pit stops we've had so far, it looks like nobody's opted for any pit stops in the top 20. And we'll see the power of the slipstream. And you can see the 31 car. of Calvin Wolf out there ahead, having done his pit stop. His first pit stop, I should say. You can see the track is getting a little bit brighter as the race has gone on. There's a car backwards there. Who is that? It's the 35 of Trudell, I believe. And this is actually this could be an opportunity for Rivera here. You know, you see that that car in front, that's Calvin Wolf. It's going to be an opportunity for Rivera to take advantage of Wolf possibly, and Wolf actually does a smart thing there and just lets him go by and doesn't really impact that battle at all. So that's really great to see. That could have easily gotten a little dicey though in that section of the track. Not really a great place to overtake or let somebody overtake. Stewart doing a good job in his first race, currently P4 in class. We've got Mellon Pitch behind him. Right in front is Zach Hickman. As much as and a little bit of a snap from the Ford there. It's cool I will say, it's cool for me to say there's a Ford on the track. An American muscle car on the track there, as we see one of the cars ahead go into the pits, and one behind as well, but that's Mellon Pitch. There's another car that just went in. Looked like somebody lost the brakes a little bit there going into the pits. Might be a penalty coming for someone speeding into the pits. It's got a Loverink, back to Loverink and Rivera. Seeing some drivers move up in the standings here as people start to take that first pit stop. We're now 45 minutes or close to 45 minutes left in the race. Looks like Loverink is pulling ahead a little bit this lap. More so than previous. Not enough to break that slipstream. Moving down to Matt Lung. Battling it out with Levasseur. Got Collis right in front. Hickman into the pits. Alex Hickman into the pits. Stewart was about to overtake Pitch, but Flores actually gets ahead of it. And now Flores moves ahead of Stewart. Rodman awfully close to this pack as well, right behind Stewart there. Be looking for an opportunity. Indeed, lots of battles everywhere. Tough to keep track of everything, but looks like right now this is the largest gaggle of cars that we have. Pitch gets overtaken there on the pseudo back straight, not so straight I should say, the back not so straight. That's Flores moving into overall P10. That's P3 in class right now. P4 really relative to where Alex Hickman just took his pits. Got these four cars just getting into a train here and getting into a rhythm. Looks like Rodman was a little bit more efficient through that last part of the track as well. Moving up to Chase Gordon here. He's currently leader in class. awfully close now between our leaders. Rivera tucking into that slipstream, looking for an opportunity. Is he going to look for it here? Definitely not. He's not close enough to make that move. Ooh, a little bit of snap on the exit from Rivera. It's going to lose him a little bit of time. Dale Rodman looking on the inside of pitch here, coming through the little kind of stadium section there. Side by side they go. Awfully close between Pitch and Rodman. Rodman has a little bit of snap oversteer on the exit there. Has to tuck back in behind Pitch. Pitch will keep the position. Flores in the pits currently. Got ahead and took his opportunity to go into the pits. Rivera also just moves ahead of Loverink there into the lead of the race. Loverink just moved ahead into the braking zone there, and I was not paying attention. My eyes seemed to be crossed or something because I maybe couldn't believe what I was seeing, but there it is. That is a lead change for the race. That's Rivera ahead of Loverink. Is there any incident? Doesn't look like there's any incident or anything. It's just a clean, old-fashioned overtake from Rivera. Rodman now, having overtaken Pitch finally, moves into turn one and two. Now working to get ahead. He's got 16 seconds to chase Gordon ahead. Rodman now being very, very consistent with his laps, just trying to stay clean throughout. And now with people making their pit stops too, everything's kind of spreading out and getting intermixed. With all those pit stops too, Hickman will start moving up the list again, and now Rivera opting to take his pit stop. Looks like Rodman's gaining an advantage on Pitch here. Louis Sands now overtakes, I want to say that might have been Trudell. Attenbury currently leading his class, but he has yet to make a pit stop, so out on his own right now. With 20 minutes into the race, we're seeing more and more drivers coming for that first pit stop. Stewart really losing those tires on that Mustang. Could be that he is ready and due for a pit stop. Lost that position to Flores ahead. Actually, it looks like Stewart may have already made his first pit stop, so interesting to see that his tires have not come into the window yet. Now we're at Chase Gordon, still gaining on Rodman behind. Jonathan Clifford having a good comeback drive, currently has his pit stop taken care of, and there's Kenneth Portis who inherits the lead from Skylar Loverink as he goes into the pits. Back to Clifford now as he's looking to make some moves. Let's watch Clifford for a little bit here as he has this little comeback drive, currently P13 overall. Rivera, after the pit stop, is in P7. He's got a nice little gap ahead of him. Trying to see what the car ahead of Clifford is. Porsche. Lloyd, Rodman, Gordon into the pits. Lovering comes in behind Rivera after the pit stops. You can see right there that Lovering is now a second behind Rivera, so that actually proved to be pretty beneficial for Rivera there. Actually gains a bit of an advantage. Portis is into the pits now. Just a handful of drivers that have yet to make their pit stop. If I show you that right here, I can show you that number. Drivers who have made the pit stop. Portis and Julian have yet to make their pit stops, as well as Kevin Attenbury. I believe they are the only 3 drivers. Pardon me, I thought they were the only 3 drivers, but looks like Josh Staffen is currently in the pits right now, completing his pit stop. Rodney Easterling with a drive-through. Any other drive-throughs from other drivers? Can't see him. Portis is now coming out of the pits after he made his pit stop. Back to the gaps here. Lovering not really able to make a dent on the gap between him and Rivera here. I think Levasseur is actually losing out quite a bit. Attenbury now moves to the pits. I think Levasseur is hoping that he can go long on this first stint, not lose too much time. Looks like he's doing fairly well compared to his best laps, so looks like the tires are still in order for him. Other drivers in his class, though, are already looking to perform a little bit better. And that's Levasseur into the pits. Rivera with the fastest lap of the race right there, with a 30.310. That being said, Lovering is definitely gaining time. Let's see where our closest battles are here. Let's see Levasseur into the pits there. Wonder where he's going to be coming out. Looking at Chase Gordon's got quite a gap to Hickman ahead. Given Hickman's pace today, could be moving up into the Pro Division next week. Let's give some love to some of our other drivers here tonight as well. JP Belanger overtaking Shane Swearingen there. Let's give a little bit of love to our other drivers tonight. We've seen a bit of Portis. We haven't seen a lot of Nunez, though, who's trying to hold the Portis here with a respectable P4. JP Belanger after the connection with Clifford early in the race. Ricardo Rivera with the fastest lap now, doing quite well for himself. Belanger, though, currently sitting P5, and Clifford's made his way back up into P9. Looks to be gaining on Gonzalez ahead. Alex Hickman currently leads the semi-pro category. Haven't seen a lot of him on the screen, but we have talked about him a lot. Doing well there, P6 overall. And a little ways behind, we've got Eric Lloyd, P6 in class, 7 overall. Gage Gonzalez, who's looking to hold to Lloyd the best he can. Driver that he has to watch out for Gonzalez is Clifford, right behind. Holding on to Clifford is Chase Gordon. Seen a lot of him today, and driver that seems to always, always surprise and just have some great drives. It's our good friend Dale Rodman, who's currently sitting P3 in the semi-pro category after not having the best start. He's just that consistent, though. He is maybe not the best qualifier, but boy oh boy is he doing great in the race pace department. With that P3 position, going to be looking to maintain that. He's gained quite a nice gap to the drivers behind, and while he's got a lot to go ahead, he is slowly trying to chip away at that gap. Just a quick look back at Clifford and Gonzalez here. Hasn't been able to gain on Gonzalez in the last lap. Good friend Calvin Wolf, currently P12 overall, having a nice consistent race. Behind him, Melon Pitch, currently P4 in class. Pitch has had a little bit of bad luck this season, but good to see him doing well this race. Zach Hickman sits behind Pitch about 2 seconds. Got Carlos Flores having a lot of fun in the battles a little bit earlier in the race before the pit stops. Now everyone seems to have spread out a little bit. Looking at Melon Pitch here. Is he going to make a move on Calvin Wolf? See how close that gap is. Also, something we want to watch is this right here. Skylar Loverink within a half a second of Rivera. Rivera's going to want to be careful here, because if he doesn't play his cards right, if he makes a mistake, Loverink will capitalize, as I'm sure Rivera did when Loverink made a mistake. Give him that position, or I'd assume he made a mistake. We'll come back to this in a little bit. Carlos Flores. Actually, we just watched Carlos a little bit ago, but let's go to Nathan Stewart, who's doing well for his first race. I believe that's P7 in the class, P16 overall. Doing well in that Mustang. Matt Lung currently duking it out with Sean Collis right behind. Collis is within a second. Now he's got that slipstream, going to look to overtake if he can. Gaining a good bit of time down this straight. See if anything gets close here. Just checking the other cars. Looks like that's where Collis is losing out there in that first turn. Gage Gonzalez moves into the pits for his second pit stop now. Levasseur, currently P18, had a bit of a poor start to the race. Currently in terms of positions gained, down 2. Wolf is our biggest gainer with plus 10 positions on the day. Glenn Pinio, currently sitting P19. Bartlett, after being gone for a few weeks, comes back and up 4 positions from the start. Gage Gonzalez is right behind him, now 2 pit stops into the race. Rodney Easterling as well has made 2 pit stops. Although one of those could have been his drive-through, I'm not sure how that counts. Maybe it doesn't count, but looks like he's got 2 pit stops. Swearingen currently leading the rookie category in his Porsche. Looking really good. Fastest lap is a 34.7. Now we have Kevin Attenbury behind him. 11 seconds down the road. Martin Mugarian. Mugarian is 8 seconds down the road from Attenbury. Looking at our battles here, Rivera still just ahead. Hickman now, Zach Hickman battling it with Pitch. Pitch is ahead. Goes side by side into the hairpin here. Nice little battle. Hickman way on the outside, wide. He's got to be a little bit more speed now into the kink. They're gonna duke it out through the kink here, and Hickman does back out a little bit there, but they're still side by side even through the kink. Goodness gracious, that's given Flores an opportunity to come back, and Hickman now on the inside for the hairpin final turn. That's actually gonna be beneficial for him, but Pitch has got more speed going down the start-finish straight. Great battle so far. Pitch on the inside, Hickman on the out. Better line for Pitch here as they go side by side into turn one. Any contact? No, there is not. Hickman looks to have the better line though into turn two, but we go side by side here and awfully close. Flores runs into the back of him a little bit. But Pitch will maintain the position after that series of corners. Excellent little battles there. Moving back down our list, Curtis Rustin. Currently sitting P26. Louis Sands. P4 in the class. Ryan Trudell is currently sitting last overall on track. Yes, there is Josh Staffen as well, but seems to be out of the race, just sitting in the pits so far. Going back up to our leaders. Battle here for P1. Less than 25 minutes left in the race. Now everyone's going to be starting to think about, okay, where's our second pit stop going to go? Some drivers have already opted to take it, like Gonzalez, and a few of our drivers near the back of the grid currently. Gonzalez, Wolf, Easterling, Rustin, and Sands have all taken their second pit stop. Flores is into the pits now. Sean Collis now moving into the pits as well with 24 minutes left in the race. Now what is Lovering gonna do here as the play? Last few laps, Lovering has been slightly faster than Rivera, but just can't get that last few seconds of speed, or a few tenths of speed in order to get ahead. See, brightness is increasing there on track. Sun is starting to peek through the horizon. Clifford now into P7. Great comeback drive from him. Alex Hickman in the pits. Rivera's just barely able to hold Lovering on behind. Definitely a lot easier to follow in these conditions, but you are eating up your tires a little bit more. And there it goes. There's Lovering into the pits. Now Rivera, is he going to respond right away? Looking at the driver ahead, 99 of Pino is ahead. Usually doesn't give a lot of trouble to cars that are lapping him, so going to be interesting to see how this goes. Nunez is held close to Portis throughout this last section here. Stewart close to Hickman. Zach Hickman, I should say. Rivera's job here is just to run the best lap he can, maybe without the pressure of Loverink behind. Let's actually go to Loverink. He's currently sitting P7, currently still in the pits. Let's see if Rivera's going to respond during his lap here. That's Loverink is green. He's moving out of the pits here, and he's into clear air as well. So very advantageous for him now. And looking where Loverink is, car ahead and behind are both on one pit stop, so he's got pretty free air ahead of him. Honestly, Rivera might want to wait a little bit. Maybe one more lap, but he's going to go in now. Was his last lap worth it? Was it enough? And it looks like he slowed down just in time there as well. Let's see here as we go to Loverink. Is Loverink going to be able to get ahead? Car ahead is, I believe, Sean Collis. Is that Wolf? I think that's Collis. Not mistaken. Let's go to the right camera here. Is not as clean of an overtake as Skylar Loverink would have liked there. And takes a lot of the curbing there. Looking at Ricardo Rivera, and he's going. Okay, Skylar Loverink is on the start-finish straight now. Rivera is coming out of the pits right now, and he's green, he's go. And there's Loverink right there. Going into turn one, who's going to have the better line? And it's going to be Loverink. Loverink gets ahead in the pit stop there. And actually, that's even going to be worse for Rivera. Actually, wait a second. I was watching the wrong car. Rivera actually does get ahead there and stays ahead of Loverink. Loverink is the one who loses out there. Now back a second and a half. That was not a good pit strategy for Loverink. He's going to be really biting himself, kicking himself about that one. Rivera's got even more of a buffer now. And with less than 20 minutes left in the race, is he going to be able to hold him off for this time? Loverink is closing barely. Looking at our pit stops. Let's actually go to Nunez now. Got a car ahead of him, between him and Portis, Zach Hickman. Another driver to watch. He's got Pitch ahead of him about 2 seconds. Rivera lucked out on that pit stop there. And there's Zach and Pitch going into the pits. Chase Gordon opting to stay out. Most drivers have taken that pit stop. Alex Hickman now, having made his 2 pit stops. Looking to gain some of those positions back now. Carlos Flores. Got what looks to be a lapped car behind. Another driver's had a good comeback drive is Gage Gonzalez. Now up to where he started. Gonzalez is also close to Clifford. Clifford back up to P8. Clifford started in, looks to be Clifford started in P6, currently sitting P8. Lloyd Nunez Gordon into the pits now. I believe Portis is the interim lead of the race. Rodman moves ahead of Swearingen there. Lapped car. Carlos Flores looking for a gap and pitches defenses here. There it goes. That's Carlos's answer there. Gets ahead of pitch. Chase Gordon had a good pit stop there. Now 9 seconds to Hickman ahead. Hickman's also close to Lloyd. Could move ahead here. Honestly, this might be really good for Chase Gordon and Rodman if Hickman can get himself into trouble here a bit with Lloyd, slow himself down a little bit. Portis is now in the pits. And coming out. Portis will maintain his position. Jonathan Clifford being challenged by Gonzalez now. Clifford having moved back up into P6. Quite the comeback drive now. Going to be a battle between him and Gonzalez. Is Gonzalez going to take a look? He's not going to take a look yet, but could he take a look into the next section here? Gonzalez not going to take a look. Great work from these two on the comeback for their drive. Loverink now within a second of Rivera. 15 minutes left to go. Easterling into the pits. I think this is going to be his second pit stop for sure. Skylar Loverink closing in on Rivera ahead. Still has that 1 second gap. JP Belanger moves ahead of the lapped car there. Clifford and Gonzalez passing a lapped car as well. Luis Sands made his way into P2 in the rookie class. Up to our leaders, Wolf and Flores now battling it out. Flores on the tear now, having overtaken Hickman recently. Now looking at Wolf as an opportunity. Flores is P4 in the class. Now, overtaking Wolf doesn't necessarily get him any more points, but could be some brownie points there. Gonzalez and Clifford still duking it out. JP Belanger just overtaking some of our lapped cars. 35 car, I believe that's Trudell, is into the wall. Making a mistake there. Carlos Flores now looking at Wolf. Looking at this opportunity. Flores looks on the inside. And actually, Wolf is going to let him. I don't think Flores really expected that. Had to kind of weave out of the way there. Flores doesn't have the best line there, and Wolf is going to capitalize on it as they go side by side. Inside line for Flores. It's going to give him the position. Now he's just got to hold it. This is a good place for Ricardo Rivera to be currently because got a lapped car in between him and Loverink. And it looks like the Pigeon racing car of Flores is spun out there. Wonder if there was some contact. Looks like there may have been between him and 31 of Wolf. A little bit of an incident there. Let's actually go back to that and watch it. So we saw them just seconds before battling it out as they come down the straight here. Let's see how that goes. Looks like into the braking zone, and Wolf just wasn't able to slow down in time. Carlos tried to block him off, was not successful in the end. Zach Hickman now. He's got the leaders right ahead of him here, and it's actually not going to be great for our leader, our two leaders there. With all of these lap cars, Ricardo Rivera and Skylar Loverink still within a second of each other. Gage Gonzalez has lost time to Clifford ahead. There was once a time where I thought there might be a move, but there was a bit of an oopsie. 10 minutes left. Alex Hickman was once challenging Lloyd, no longer really has that opportunity either. Well, Flores at one point had the opportunity to get P4 in class. I think he maybe just got, I know it's in our name, but I think he maybe just got a little bit overzealous there. Especially when you're battling with someone who's not even in the same class as you. It doesn't really make sense to push the issue too much, especially getting in door-to-door battles when there's really no point for it. I'm sure Wolf didn't mean to, but when you're battling that close, accidents are bound to happen a lot more frequently. May have been better, and even though it's hard to see that in the moment, may have been better for Flores to just hold off and maybe let Wolf let him by if he saw he was fast enough. Wolf's got nothing to lose by letting him by, and really, Flores has nothing to gain by getting by either. Swearing in now, making good progress through the field. Swearingen actually doing really well today. Looks like it could be a win for him. There's Nathaniel Stewart. Apologize to Rustin there. We're actually watching Rustin's Lamborghini. Calvin Wolf. Still has a semi-pro driver right behind him. Doing well to be consistent. Gage Gonzalez now passing the lapped car there. Lost time to Clifford ahead. Loverink's also lost time to Rivera. Nunez gaining on Portis. Alex Hickman passing a lapped car. Ooh, it gets a little bit squirrely on the exit there. Got to be watch out for those curbs there. Could have been a disastrous occasion for Alexander Hickman there. Possibly giving Gordon a chance to snatch victory. Julian Levasseur. Ooh, taps Carlos Flores there. Flores not having a lot of luck with the taps from behind now. Doesn't look like they lost any positions, which is good, but did lose some time to the drivers ahead. Back into the battle they go. 6 minutes, 40 seconds left. Jonathan Clifford passing some lap traffic here. Great comeback drive from Clifford. You know, I know, we're almost done with the race, but I'd say any of you in the chat, vote for your driver of the day. We'll narrow it down. We'll try and get your driver of the day comments in. Post driver of the day. If there's one driver that we all think has done the best, we'll vote for them. Otherwise, if y'all vote for different people, we'll just pick whoever has the most votes, maybe do another vote after that. Nunez is gaining on Portis ahead. Still got a long ways to go with almost 5 minutes left. Just a little over 5 minutes. Back to Flores and Levasseur. Looking at Skyler Loverink, he's now 2 seconds behind our leader Rivera. Flores looking for an opportunity to shake Levasseur here. Julian goes way hard on the inside. Actually gets a really good exit because of it. Down the straight they go. It's a lot of movement from Flores. Shouldn't really be doing that much. And Levasseur actually, just use that slingshot to his advantage there. Gets ahead of Flores quite easily. That's an overtake. Pat Swearingen says Shane should get the driver of the day. Flores has a bit of a moment there. It's been a good drive from Swearingen, starting I believe P3 in class. Having some issues early on, he's made back to the lead. I think if things go well for him, this could be his first win in class. Now, don't think we caught this. No, we did catch that, never mind. Sean Collis. Pitch is in the pits. Not sure what was causing that. To our leader, Ricardo Rivera. Definitely a good race from him after losing out on pole position. Just the consistency tonight has been excellent from Rivera. Has been able to hold off Loverink the whole way and now is pulling ahead. Maybe Loverink is just realizing he doesn't need to try as hard because it's really, no use at this point. Looking at the logs, looks like Pitch got slammed with a drive-through penalty there for exceeding track limits too many times. Portis now with Stewart right ahead, and this is dangerous for Portis because right behind him is our good friend Jose Nunez. Nunez has been closing in the last few laps, now 1 second to Portis. Portis needs to hold him off, and we've got drivers going left and right here. Now Portis has got the Mustang as a buffer. And Stewart will let Nunez through. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Nunez might also be the only Mercedes we have this season, as Portis is looking to pass Pitch and some other lapped cars here. Portis trying to use these cars to his best ability to get a bit of a buffer from him to Nunez behind. All the cars are just kind of parting ways, don't want to get involved in this podium battle here. Ferrari does get in the way there a little bit. Not sure there's much, I believe that's Zach Hickman. Not sure there's much that Hickman can do. Just kind of an awkward position right now because Hickman is still looking to battle Stewart. Portis uses that to his advantage, is able to get through and actually gain some time there. Gage Gonzalez having issues. Gonzalez loses a position to Lloyd. Time is running short on the clock. And now it is out. Our drivers, once Ricardo Rivera passes the start-finish line here, it will be the end. Stewart and Hickman battling it out here in the last couple laps. Let's watch this battle as it ensues. Hickman getting awfully squirrely in the rear of that Ferrari, and looks like the Mustang is kind of in the same boat there. They come through the not so straight. Looks like Hickman might have the advantage here. Rivera now crossing, turning the final corner. He will come away with his, I believe, first victory this season. That's Ricardo Rivera. Lovering right behind. Kenneth Portis, after a great little battle there with Nunez in the last few laps, is able to squeak away with another podium on his belt, under his belt this season. Nunez P4. Quiet race from Belanger, but a great P5 for him. Jonathan Clifford will come away with a P6 performance. Great comeback drive after a lap 1 incident. Eric Lloyd still battling it out with Gonzalez, but going back, Alex Hickman, great drive from him. Looks like Zach Hickman was able to hold off Stewart. Clifford now crossing the line. Eric Lloyd will be able to eke out P7 from Gonzalez. Hickman now crossing the line, P9. Great performance from him. Gordon seemed to have some issues in the final stages, and that'll be a P2 for Dale Rodman once he crosses the line here. That is an excellent performance from him. You know, he's got 10 seconds from Chase in the back, unless he royally messes up this last turn. I don't think anything's going to go wrong. Actually, Chase has already crossed the finish line, so a great performance from Dale Rodman there. It's going to be a P2 for him in class. Down in the other sections too, that's Shane Swearingen coming away with his main victory in class. And given that nobody else voted, I'll give Shane the driver of the day today for an excellent performance in class. Louis Sands and Martin Bulgarian coming away after that. Good efforts from all, though. Turning off my overlays here and getting into the garage to look at our timetables and look at our race results here at Valencia. Um, I think I called it there a little bit. We were seeing a lot of pit stop strategy battles there throughout the race today. Exactly how it usually happens with these two-stop races, especially at a track like this where you have to be on the edge all the time in order to get all of the time in your laps. Gotta say though, thank you for the subscribe, DDU464. Really do appreciate it. Um, but going through our final order for today's race, huge congratulations to Ricardo Rivera. Started P2, ended P1 for the race. That's a win for him and fastest lap. Skylar Loverink in P2. Kenneth Portis, another P3 for him this season. Then we've got Nunez, Belanger, Clifford, Lloyd, Gonzalez, and Wolf. And then if you go to the bottom here, we'll also see Staffen and Dubé as well in the Pro class. For the semi-pro class, Alexander Hickman coming back to ZRL with a win under his belt. P9 overall, but great performance from him in his McLaren 720S Evo. Dale Rodman Jr. with an excellent P2 performance tonight. Just a great season from him overall. Consistent, love to see it. Congrats to him, good job. Chase Gordon with a P3, another podium for him. The rest of the semi-pro category is Hickman, Stewart, Levasseur, Flores, Collis, Pinio, Rustin, Lung, Bartlett, Pitch, Easterling, and Trudell. And last but not least, our rookie class, Shane Swearingen with his maiden victory with ZRL in the rookie class. We've got Swearingen, Sands, Mugarian, Attenbury, and Reed rounding out our rookie class tonight. Like I said, pit stops were everything, and that strategy was everything tonight. Managing those lapped drivers, managing where you're going to be coming out of the pits was crucial in tonight's outcome. Rivera played it as a masterclass in pit strategy tonight. You really love to see those strategies, and really, I think it's even more impressive if you don't sim race yourself, especially in a league like this. We're managing our strategy all ourselves. Like we don't have a team helping us with pressures and setups and making sure that we're making a good decision on our pit stop given the gaps and everything that we have. Like we're doing it all of ourselves. So for Rivera to have such a good timing in his pit stops today and to be able to get ahead of Loverink the way he did on track, uh, nonetheless, just an excellent performance from him tonight. To reiterate what to look at next week, I should say, not reiterate, but looking at next week, we have a night race at Watkins Glen. It's going to be a 45-minute race. It's going to be one mandatory pit stop with refueling mandatory, tires not mandatory if you don't want to. But yeah, Watkins Glen next week for our drivers should be another fun race, another flowing course, but a few more opportunities for overtakes if you can manage it. So it's going to be exciting. It was exciting today. But anyway, thank you all for your support. Really appreciate the subscribes tonight. And also, if you're interested in Zealous Racing League and you want to join our community, be sure to, well, first like and subscribe this video, but also join our Discord server, which there's a link on the home page of our YouTube channel. That's where you're going to get the most up-to-date information on all things Zealous Racing League. That's where, you know, all of our upcoming seasons, fun races, other events will be advertised. So be sure to come and join us there. I like to think we're pretty welcoming, and I think most people who've been a part of ZRL for even a short amount of time will echo that. So anyway, my name is Shim. I've been your host tonight. Really appreciate all of you coming out, and I will see you all next week in the US of A for a 45-minute race at Watkins Glen. Again, thank you all so much. Have a wonderful night. Peace.